reset, invent, new, reboot.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DSA President and CEO, Kate Joncas.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. With the change that's happening all around us and the opportunities that Dan and Shannon discussed, now is the time to reboot and transform. And we have the skills to do it. 2 polls named us the smartest and most liked city in the US. If anyone can, we can. The Downtown Seattle Association's mission is to champion a healthy, vibrant urban core. With our partner organizations, we pay attention to everything across our 12 downtown neighborhoods that contributes to making this place a great place to live, work, shop, and play. From one of the oldest neighborhoods, Pioneer Square, to our newest, South Lake Union. Downtown is very important to the city's economic health. It generated over $300 million in taxes in 2012, equivalent to almost 1/3 of the city's general fund. Downtown's taxes could fund the entire police department or the park system. There are lots of things we measure about downtown. Let's take a look at the numbers. If we give people a great urban housing choice, they will come. Despite the recession, our residential population has grown. Since 2005, downtown has grown faster than the city, the county, or the region. The South Lake Union and Denny Triangle neighborhoods are the fastest growing, doubling since 2000. From 2008 to 2011, over 4,600 housing units were built, and from 2012 to 2015, we expect almost 10,000 new housing units. Nearly 60,000 people live downtown, 1/3 of them also work here, and nearly half don't own a car. Downtown residents are different. They live alone, they are young, they are smart, and they are men. Oh, the smart and lonely men of downtown. So we're thinking they may need some fashion help here, although maybe not. But despite their fashion choices, the lonely men must be getting dates because the number of downtown families is growing. Children downtown increased 31% between 2010 and 2014, and the fastest growing age group in downtown is children ages 5 to 9. Downtown school enrollment grew faster than any other neighborhood in the city. So what's important about downtown living is that we need to create all kinds of housing, and we need to do it thoughtfully. We're committed to the value, and have been for years, that downtown is everybody's neighborhood. And downtown is a regional resource for housing and services for those in need. 40% of the city's subsidized housing and over 100 human services are located in downtown. Our great MID team knows the challenges that this creates. Human services partners and elected officials now, and thank you Dow, have been discussing that we now need some balance, and we should focus services away from downtown and look at a regional approach for our housing, for our subsidized housing and services needs. So downtown Seattle has over 200,000 jobs. That's 42% of all the employees in the city. No slackers either. We were named the hardest working city in the US in 2013. Downtown has seen some big employment gains, reversing a decade-long trend. During the recession, more than half the jobs lost in the city were lost in downtown. But since 2010, downtown has accounted for 87% of all the new jobs in Seattle and nearly half the new jobs in King County. Despite this good news, employment in downtown is still about 3% lower than it was in 2000. And to put our growth in context, let's take a look at a competitor. In the last 10 years, Austin has added 3 times as many jobs as us. Our job numbers are positive because retail, which includes e-commerce, and services, which includes most IT, added 6,000 jobs last year. In fact, Forbes named us the best city for tech growth in 2013. Also in 2013, Amazon occupied 3.2 million square feet in downtown, and there is currently an additional 4.7 million square feet in the pipeline for a total of 7.9 million square feet. This could support more than 40,000 new workers. It's no wonder South Lake Union and Denny Triangle has seen huge increases in pedestrian traffic and has seen a strong influx of restaurants, spas, and gyms. Annual streetcar ridership has grown from 500 to 800,000. My favorite fun fact of the year is that the prepared food sections at Whole Foods is the busiest Whole Foods in the country. Have you been there at lunch? You need to be combat ready to get that kale and quinoa salad. So what's important to note about this job growth is that job growth needs transit. We need more bus service to support our growth, job growth. 43% of downtown workers, 86,000 folks, take the bus to work every day, but devastatingly, Metro will have to cut 17% of its service starting this year due to revenue shortfalls. We need to get people to work. So we called on the local logistics, international logistics expert who happens to have a brand new delivery service in development. I tested it out. Let's take a look.
Kate, we have to get back down to earth. I'm here today to say we need to do something about our transit problem. 86,000 people a day make Metro Transit their preferred way of getting downtown. And beginning this summer, 1 of every 6 of the buses that serve downtown will disappear. On April 22nd, there will be a vote. Move King County now to provide new funding to restore this bus service. And you need to help today. So here's what you need. You need your checkbook. You'll find on your table these remit envelopes. Look around. Go grab them, please, right now. There are pens in front of you. You don't need to have a checkbook. If you don't have a checkbook, you can make a pledge. So what I need to ask you to do is to write your check. I've written mine here this morning already. Fill out a pledge. There's a large white envelope in the middle of the table. Put the small envelope in the large envelope. You know, there are some campaigns you have a choice about fighting and some you don't. We may complain about being in this position, and we may fantasize about the legislature doing something about this problem this year, but that's fantasy. You're here because you live downtown, you work downtown, you have businesses and employees here. And for this campaign, we don't have a choice. Metro Transit is our lifeline downtown. So I'm asking you to join us today with your contribution. We'd like to raise $500 per table. Some of you can give $5, some of you can give $200. But please make a contribution that counts, because the alternative for us beginning this summer is not one that involves drones, as we saw. It will be an unhappy future for us. Thank you. Make a contribution that counts. And now I'm going to return us to our regularly scheduled programming, already in progress.
Thank you, everyone, for what you're about to do. But Dow, you know, that looked kind of fun, you know. After we get Metro funding, we need more service. Maybe we should be talking about that. So Metro's important to everything, so now let's work on shopping. So compared to most other cities in the US, our downtown retail continues to be strong, which is great. Since 2005, our sales increased 18%, while growth at the county was 8%. Last year, downtown retail sales increased for the second year in a row, and sales numbers are about to grow again with the opening of Zara at Westlake Center tomorrow. I'm gonna pop some tags, and I hope you guys are all gonna be joining me. Of the 3,600 street-level businesses in downtown, 1,000 are retail and 2,600 are services such as restaurants, fitness centers, and salons. There's a notable trend, though. Over the past 6 years, services, particularly restaurants, have grown, which is great, but traditional shoppers' retail has decreased. So it's important, we have got to keep our retail, and key to keeping our retail is great public spaces, and here's why. Nationally, retail sales have increased, but that was due to online shopping and restaurant sales. Sales in traditional retail stores actually declined. Internet retailing is now about 9% of total sales, and some analysts believe online sales actually absorbed all of the retail sector's real growth since 2000. And online sales are projected to double by 2017. And last year we talked about showrooming, where customers go to the store, look at the stuff, and then go home and buy it online. A new report found that 65% of shoppers plan to web room, that is, browse online and then head to the store to make their purchases to avoid shipping costs and to touch and feel the product. This finding is very important because it highlights that online shopping and brick and mortar stores have a symbiotic relationship. In Seattle, we have probably the best online retailer in the world and the best brick and mortar retailers, and they need to both be successful. We know a downtown is dead without street level retail, and with internet competition, a good urban retail mix is getting even tougher. We can help our retailers by creating beautiful, high-quality pedestrian environments like the ones we saw earlier that draw people to downtown and create memorable experiences. Well,
12, they're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions.
Well, we are certainly back to having a little fun around here. Since 2005, downtown sales in arts, entertainment, and food has increased 44%, higher than the city, county, or state. The largest year-over-year increase, 41%, was in performing arts and spectator sports. It's probably the Seahawks effect. Our restaurant scene downtown is hot. There are currently 1,100 bars, restaurants, and cafes in downtown, and the mix of restaurants continues to change with exciting concepts from top chefs and new entrepreneurs, including Tom Douglas, Matt Dillon, Jason Stratton, and Thierry Radeau. In this category, downtown rules, absolutely. The city saw an annual increase in restaurant sales of about 150 million. Well, 98% of that increase came from downtown. Now that is hot. Our cultural scene is cool and hot. Seattle outperforms the US, the state, and the region in arts jobs, revenue and participation, and in sales of photography, music, books, and art. Our music scene creates over 11,000 jobs with 2,600 businesses generating over $90 million in taxes. So the last few years, hotels were absolutely frozen, but now they're sizzling. The recession hit the tourism market really hard here. In 2011, there were no hotels under construction in downtown. As you can see, that has certainly changed. Hotels are springing up and being renovated all over town. There are 5 hotels under construction and 12 more planned. And interestingly, these projects are mixed use. 9 include residential components and 2 include office. What's important in this sector is that restaurant growth is fueling neighborhood revitalization. Restaurants add to neighborhood vibrancy and help all retail. In fact, you can change your retail future through restaurants, and Pioneer Square is a case in point. I'm thrilled to announce that Josh Henderson's team, you may know them best from the fabulous Skillet truck, is opening a new restaurant at the corner of Occidental and King called Quality Athletics, a gastropub sports bar focusing on female customers. Take note, you lonely guys. Also, in the Pacific Commercial Building, Mike Easton, the owner of Il Corvo, is opening Pizzeria Gabbiano, a Roman-style pizzeria, and the owners of Marination are opening Good Bar, a restaurant bar. Big congratulations, Pioneer Square. So, looking forward, the recent growth and investment in downtown is remarkable, particularly when you consider where we were just 4 years ago. So how do we keep this good thing going? It actually is by being ourselves and finding our own unique way. 3 critical issues. 1, declare once and for all that we will not tolerate crummy public spaces. We're a great downtown that lacks No more crummy. We're a great downtown that lacks great public spaces. People come downtown for fun, exciting, and inviting and unique urban experience. The quality and design of our public spaces is essential, and other cities are figuring this out. Here's this great park in Boston, this great walking and bike trail in Indianapolis, and a fabulous streetscape in Lancaster, California. Come on, Lancaster, we can do better than that. With the increase in online shopping, successful retailers are paying close attention now to the customer experience in their stores. This is a Starbucks store from about just 5 years ago, and here's what many look like today. We need to keep up with our great, innovative, and risk-taking retailers and make sure the experience outside their stores is just as fabulous as the experience they create inside. 100 years ago, big thinking Seattleites hired the Olmsted brothers to design a park system when we were barely even a city. Today, we're looking at creating a beautiful new waterfront, a remake of Pike Pine, a redo of Seattle Center. This should be absolutely no problem for us. Big thinking and the courage to proceed with our wild ideas is kind of what we do best. 2, we must develop a comprehensive housing strategy so that housing production keeps pace with job growth. Our region is growing and growing jobs, and that's good because it provides opportunity and tax base. When housing grows with job growth, housing costs stay in check. But if population and jobs grow and housing production does not keep up, we become San Francisco, the city where median home price just hit $1 million and rents have increased by 30% to an average of $3,000 a month. San Francisco did not allow its housing supply to keep up with demand. They downzoned and they created, by their own admission, a Byzantine planning project that kept out density. San Francisco officials are now rushing to encourage housing, but it may be too late. The city just changed the zoning and incentives in South Lake Union to encourage more housing, but developers are not building to the allowed heights and they're not using the incentives. Just 2 out of the 13 residential projects are building to the maximum allowed density. To avoid San Francisco's fate, we need to develop a broad set of tools that encourages the market to build lots of new housing. We have a good start. Folks are getting creative with micro units, accessory dwelling units, and co-ops, and we've had a levy in place since the 80s. Let's embrace group housing, co-housing, density around transit, leverage public property, incentivize density, and developers are a part of the solution. Let's brainstorm together. Thank you to the council for setting up a process. I know we can come up with a creative, fair, and effective strategy. Number 3, we've got to expand transit, but first we have to save what we've got. You heard it. We sat down a decade ago and agreed that building a lot more parking in downtown and building some more streets for cars was really very unlikely. So in order to sustain job growth, we needed to increase transit use. And we've done that with our great partners at the city and Metro. Now transit use in Seattle is higher than almost anywhere else in the country. Our strong job growth is demanding more transit, but the lingering effects of the recession will mean major cuts this year if we don't act. So first things first, vote yes April 22nd to preserve bus service and improve roads. Okay, this is our time. We should do it our way. Just think, in 2011, the New York Times said the Seahawks had made the worst draft picks ever. How'd that turn out, eh? We're creating shockwaves around the country and actually around the world by our innovative pairing of police with social workers to reduce street crime and drug addiction. And Macklemore ignored all the traditional music industry paths, went independent, and produced 5 platinum singles. Yeah, for him. So cool. So let's not follow the herd on our future. We have great new leadership at City Hall, lots of wonderful city partners in the audience at Economic Development, Parks, SDOT, DPD, and Department of Finance, who we treasure, and a whole city full of innovators. Let's go our own weird and wonderful way. Like famous Seattle philosopher Ben Haggerty says, "This is our moment, so we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us." Thank you very much.
This is the moment.